Good morning, everybody. Okay, so I have some thoughts and ideas, and it's all connected to a dream I woke up from 2 mornings ago that I've been chewing on. And then synchronistically, in other words, there are no accidents. I've been coming across some stuff and making connections to this dream I had. And right now, a lot of Christians are having major dream time. Last night, for the first time in ages, I don't remember dreaming, which I woke up feeling rested and good. And this is less than, 2 days after I had this dream on the 19th. And then I made notes on this morning and added to that. No, it says the 21st a.m. So I had this dream in the a.m. By the way, real quick, got my laptop now so I can talk and talk and talk. You may not like that, but I'm excited about being able to do something a little longer today and how it connects to September 23rd, the doorway that opens up, and how I think God has communicated with me in this dream about kind of what it's all about, even though it was very symbolic in the dream. And it wasn't the Jesus that I met in January, but 2 mornings ago, yes, I had another Jesus dream. That makes two. Except he was more of a human Jesus. He was like, the Jesus that's going to love everybody. And when you hear my dream, you'll hear my own insecurities and things, but you'll also hear how powerful it is, I think, when I get to the end. So I don't think it'll be more than 10 minutes, but I am excited about the idea of not being cut off in the middle of a great sentence. Okay, so I'm going to start with my dream, and then we'll go from there. And if you're a dreamer and you're into symbology, I think you'll find this really interesting. It's how my mind works, and it's how God communicates with me best is through symbology in my dreams or direct contact. I'm a very lucid dreamer. I can change my dreams. I can remember my dreams pretty well, not as much as I used to. But let me tell you, when you are a dreamer and your spirit is involved with things on that level, you often wake up exhausted, like you've just fought a war. And if you fight a war in your dreams, you can bet you're going to wake up being exhausted. So I do spend a lot of my time being really tired, but I generally sleep well now. Drugs are good for some things, okay? And being able to get sleep really changed my life and how I started getting better, because as I said in a former video, sleep deprivation is an awful thing. You do not want to be there. Okay, the dream. I've dreamt of this house before, and I always know it as my house, but I even get lost in my own house, okay? And I'm sorry I say okay a lot. I get in trouble for that. Okay. So I would say like kind of 1920s style. And this is also kind of like the house I was in when I had the dream about the two celebrities and sacrifices going on in that house. I dream about this house a lot. And I always find hidden rooms that I didn't know were there in this house. And family comes over, and I'm always trying to find space for everybody. And that's what was going on in this dream and it was hectic for me. And then it kind of changed. And there were many rooms and bathrooms. I'm trying to find room for family. My brother is there. I had run a bath in my bathroom, and he got in my tub. And it really made me angry because I was trying to get ready for my wedding. in dreams, it's weird when you're like marrying somebody else or anything like that, because in your conscious life, you're dedicated to someone else. And sometimes you feel guilty when you wake up, like, why was I dreaming about marrying somebody else? And I've had a lot of similar dreams like this. I was trying to get ready for my marriage, but I knew he was a gay man and also slept with men. This is how crazy. But I was okay with that because we signed a contract and we would live separate lives. And I was given a house. It said at first 6 bedrooms, 1 bath, and I thought, that's crazy. But it was way more than that. When you got in the house that I was left, which is the house, my consciousness, the house, my dream house, where I work out my mental jigsaws. I knew the man. He was a beautiful man and had long dark hair. I knew he was gay, but I agreed to it anyway. Confusion. And then I'm getting around trying to find dresses. My brother messes everything up by getting in my tub. I have to go find another bathroom to clean up and get ready. And I couldn't decide what to wear, but I do end up deciding on this red and gold dress, which you would think as a bride, for a wedding. I realized I was supposed to marry an hour ago. So I go to find him in his apartment of the house. And there's lots of people there, and I knock, and I ask for privacy, and then I start telling him how lonely I've been, and that on this wedding night, just this one night, I need his full attention. He says, of course, and he gives me a hug, and then I realize it's Jesus. And we get into a bed that's full of red and gold satin. And that makes sense in some other things too, but I don't want to go there yet about bloodline stuff and my family history. He says we are already married, and I'm confused because I don't remember the ceremony or anything. I feel love from him, but it bothers me that he sleeps with men too. And I don't know why I'm okay with this. Then it's like I am at my grandmother's house, and that's my maternal grandmother, and I go across the street to where my Aunt Frances lived. She lived to be about 86, 87, and my grandfather's relatives are there, but they're dead relatives, and some of them I had never met. One has me come sit on her lap. She has blonde hair, and I don't recognize her, but I know she's family. And I tell her how sick I am and that I don't know what's wrong with me and why I can't get well. And in an earlier part of the dream, before I was in that house, I had been shot by people that were possessed, and I was trying to get away from them because they were trying to keep me from getting married. And I could feel the bullet in the dream. I kept touching it, going, I can feel it. Can't somebody take that out? And another woman comes up the driveway, and they tell me she's family and she's a medical doctor and that she can help me. But they didn't say medical doctor. I don't remember exactly what they said. It wasn't medical doctor, but it was like medical something. So I got shot trying to get away from the large house that they broke into, and they were trying to kill me so I wouldn't marry. Hang on a second. Oh, when my brother was in the tub, I was like angry and I grabbed one leg, which made me think afterwards about Esau and Jacob and birthrights. And I grabbed his leg, and then I tried to drown him, or was I baptizing him? I wasn't really sure, but I didn't kill him. I finally let him up at the last minute, but I was holding him under the water like, if you take my tub or birthright, or I don't know, this is what you're getting from me. And then I gave him his own room and his own bathroom, but that's where there were people with guns hiding in there in his room. And that's when the girl shot me. Sorry, this is all like gibbled that morning. A semi, when I got outside, tried to run me down and hit me too. Somebody asked for my ID, and I had trouble finding it, but I found it in my black wallet. And it was like at the last minute I found it, or I was going to jail or something. Just crazy dreams all thrown together. My interpretation a couple of mornings ago was, of course, Bride of Christ comes to mind, Revelations, the times we're going through. Christ does love men and women. And by the way, in bed, we didn't have sex. We just cuddled, and I felt loved. And I think that's what I was trying to marry in my head. You know, the bride of Christ is the church, and it's also us. We're the individual members of the church. I keep obsessing about the bullet in my right shoulder, and I keep asking people to help me get it out. I felt like I was emotionally very needy in the dream to Jesus and the family members, and I needed to be held and comforted. Which, you know, your conscious self goes, why was I so needy in that dream? But I guess I needed something. Now, I made notes this morning, and this was actually after I watched Trey Smith's God in a Nutshell's view on September 23rd, which I thought was really interesting. So let me go to that. Okay, my dream. Make sure I didn't skip anything. No. Okay, watching Trey Smith regarding September 23rd. His sharing in view on the bridegroom of Christ, bride virgin story connected to my dream of 2 nights ago. It was symbolic of the human Jesus in my dream, not the total light Jesus dream that anointed me and baptized me by fire in January. That totally changed my life. It was more real than any other experience I've ever had. I didn't realize it was Jesus, even though in my dream he had long brown hair and, you know, was kind of like the Jesus we imagine, until he held me. And then I felt just great compassion and love, like I was the only thing that mattered. And that made me happy because I had told him, you know, just for like right now, can I be the only one you think about, you know, even though I know when we get married, you're really popular and people will always be around, but can right now it just be you and me? Like a child almost. In bed, I realized people were all around in the dream and wanted more privacy and intimacy with him than that. Our bed had red and gold sheets and duvet cover, pillows, etc. And then it's like I remembered that, wrote it down, remembered I was wearing red and gold. And I've written down in the notes, red equals the blood of Christ, blood royal. Gold, wealth, royalty, maybe back to the inheritance. The inheritance of God. And then I've written here, last night I had no dream recall, woke feeling great at 7:30 a.m., got up, somehow, I had listened to it before, but it didn't really click, and then I watched Trey again, and something he said really clicked. The bride is not perfection. The bride is desire. Our desires. In the dream, by the way, I had tried on several dresses before I decided one. I don't want to repeat things. Okay, Trey says he created us for communion with him. And then he said, God is not putting on a show for us. He is offering to us with dates when things are set, like, in Jewish law and things like that, Sabbath dates, things like that, festivals, those are gifts to us, not laws. Those are gifts to us to commune with God, to be married to the bridegroom. So we can commune with him. And these signs, I loved what he said, are saying, watch Israel right now. That much we know. The other thing is the signs are saying, wake up, bride, wake up, church. And I love how you kind of said this and it cracked me up. Jesus brings the party, man. And he always brought food. To everything he did, he always brought food for the people because he knew that's all the people were thinking about. They were hungry all the time. They could only store grains and some oils and wine. So my thoughts I'm writing down here: the merging of Christ, the New Age, people might call it Christ consciousness, but it is an ascending, and that rapture equals desire. When you break that word down, you've heard songs and different things and poems talk about the rapture. It's the desire of the people. It's all of us calling out right now to God and trying to be close to him and get the answers for him about how to be ready and, what to expect. And in that dream, by the way, I heard Christ whisper in my ear, have courage. I forgot to put that down. And there are fears, deep down seated fears that come out from dreams and just from reading Revelations and seeing what's going on in the world and knowing what's going on in the world. So my dream for me was a confirmation. When I thought I was late for the ceremony, he had said, we are already married. And then we hugged or, quote, merged in the dream. I recall I said that I want you all for myself just for one night, like I knew people were always going to be around and we would never really be alone. But in the dream, okay, and then I just kind of go on to going across the street from that house to but see, I'm not really at my grandmother's house, but it is the dream I grew up in. It's the family I was raised in. And I'm really shaky and weak and I'm naked and I can barely get over there for some reason. I guess I just got up naked out of the bed and, went to family's house. And I'm saying I want to be healthy. And then the medical person arrives. A woman, she has strawberry blonde like so many in my family on that side. Aunt Frances equals the maternal bloodline. I'm being welcomed and congratulated, by the way, for my marriage. And I've written, I'm going to be healed by maternal bloodline, breaking curses, etc. My maternal bloodline has reached out to me a lot. They have a lot to do with my journey, and so has my paternal. So I've written, by the way, I am Jesus' family bloodline. Oh, yeah, well, let's not go into that. The Royal Grey Mysteries are very connected to my bloodline, and there's a lot of things I may get into someday, but we're not going to go there for a while. In dreams, my body was weak, shaky, people holding me, Jesus held me, and then my maternal, I think great-grandmother was holding me and comforting me, telling me the family would get me well. So that's the end of that as far as my dreams. And I think that was all I wrote about Trey, but there was one more thing he said, that the gifts to us, the dream was a gift to me. All the dreams we're having right now are God's gifts. I'll put the link down below, and you can watch Trey's, or you can just type in God in a Nutshell, Trey Smith, and it's pretty much the top one right now because it's titled, something about September 23rd, and everybody's going nuts right now. Are people gonna disappear on the 23rd? Some people will. People disappear every day. There might even be a larger number that disappear on the 23rd. But it's about the doorway. It's about the wedding ceremony. It's about the feast. It's about God giving gifts to his bride. Okay, that's what this time is about. I really felt that after I started analyzing the dream and then happenstance or synchronicity, listening to some things that really triggered my mind on that dream, because I wanted to tell you about it, but I didn't really know what to say with it. And I want anything I share, hopefully, to be an inspiration, even the scary stuff, just realizing it's a spiritual world out there. And, and there's things seen and unseen. And if we lift our arms up, to God, he will send us that merging of consciousness and spirit that we need to progress spiritually. And I think that's a really fabulous thing. And I think it's awesome. So I hope everybody's doing good. Wow, I got to make a 21-minute video. Let's see if it'll upload. Have a good day.